Lord Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, concludes the chapter by saying, Ye tu dharmyamritam idam yathoktam paryupasate shraddhadana matparma bhaktastiva me priyaha. The dharmamritam that I have taught you just now, the very nectarine essence of all dharma as a devotee, what one must do. The one who follows it yathoktam in the letter and spirit, with complete sincerity, Shraddhadana, Matparma, for my sake, devoted to me. Such a person is Ativa me priya, extremely dear to me. While the previous shlokas keep telling dear to me, but if you do all these things, finally he says, those who follow whatever I have taught, which is the nectarine essence of all dharma, all the righteous thing that one can learn, but yathoktam paripasate, they practice it completely as it is meant to be, without modifying it, distorting it, or conveniently interpreting it to their own conveniences. They follow exactly as it is said, with great sincerity and completely devoted to me. Such people are extremely dear to me. To be dear to God is to do what God likes, isn't it? Be dear to anyone. One must do what that person likes. You want to have friendship with somebody, you change yourself to become dear to them. You change your ways to suit their liking. You want to impress them. You want to do all the things that will make them happy because you want to be dear to them. That is the whole idea. At some point in time, I remember it was Canara Bank that was reinventing itself, and their marketing strategy was to use a campaign called We Change for Those Whom We Love. So Canara Bank changed its symbol. Earlier it used to be serving to grow, growing to serve. And from then they changed with two triangles entangled and saying that we change for those whom we love. And that stayed with me and it touched me because the advertisements everywhere will show that how people were trying to change themselves. Mother-in-law was trying to change herself to a new daughter-in-law in her ways. Man was trying to change his ways to suit his young son, and so on and so forth. Generally, the old ones were changing because they are the ones who are very difficult to change, you see. They are habituated to a certain way of doing things. So, in the advertisements I was watching, the old people were trying to change themselves to suit the younger generation. Likewise, the old bank in its old ways are changing to suit the modern requirements of the modern age bankers and customers. So that was the campaign. It really stayed with me because the idea is very correct. We always change for those whom we love. We change our ways, our habits, our likes and dislikes. And even if we don't like something, we start liking it because we want to be dear to that person. So if you want to be dear, very dear to Lord Krishna or to your Guru, to your God, you have to exactly do what they like. And that is how you become dear to me. Why I become dear to you? Because I do what you like. You want an education, you get an education. You want a security, safety, or comfort, you get all of it. You want mental peace, spiritual guidance, you get that. Whatever is your requirement. When I do that for you, you become happy with me, so I become dear to you. The same applies this way also. When you do exactly what I expect you to do, you become dear to me, says Krishna. Do all this and you become very dear to me. When you are dear to God, you will become near to God. Because dearness is nearness. If you become dear to somebody, they will always like to spend time with you. You don't have to seek out where is God. God will come seeking after you. Because He wants to be with you because you are dear to Him. You attract Him. You make Him happy. So you want to spend time with the person who is dear to you because you feel happy in their presence. So you want to attract God to yourself, all the good things to yourselves. You have to do what God likes. That may not be exactly what you like to do because of your old habits. What he said, Bhavaroga, it's been there for Akala, from time immemorial, ever since beginning of time. These bad habits, these ideas, worldliness has stayed with us. Now changing ourselves to suit God's requirements, God's liking, it takes effort. It's not easy because we are creatures of habits. It's very difficult to change our habits. But what's the point if we don't change and not become dear to God at the end of the day? It's all a waste, whatever we do, isn't it? So the whole effort of our life should be to how to be dear to God, how to be that Ativa Priya Bhakta of Lord, whom he feels proud about, whom he feels happy about, whom he feels like staying with or spending time with. So that's all you need to do to become spiritually evolved. All other things are secondary. Exactly do what God likes, God wants, God would appreciate. And don't do other things that God won't want. Simple as that. But it takes time. We need a lot of time to behave, to change ourselves, our habits, our ideas, our old vasanas, samskaras. All that takes a lot of time to. Just when we feel, oh, we have overcome every of it and now we are better, suddenly a situation arises, you're tempted, distracted, and back again. That एक पग आगे दो पग पीछे तुम तक कैसे आऊं, that becomes our way of life. So what is the motivation then? How do we constantly continuously stay in that state of moving forward, not slipping backwards? The only way is good company. There is no other way. Satsangam. Satsangatve nissangatvam. Nissangatve nirmohatvam. Nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Nischalatatve jivan mukti. Staying in the company of the people who only want to be dear to God, not dear to the teacher, warden, or friends, or relatives, or government, or political bosses. None of them. They want to be dear only to God, and their whole life's purpose, orientation, focus is only what should I do to be dear to God. Stay in the company of such people, you will also progress. Don't stay in the company of people who take God lightly or casually. They say they love God, but they don't truly love God because they don't do everything that God loves. They love God because God does exactly what they want them to do, want God to do. That's why they love God. But they don't love God from the point of view of doing things for God and making God happy. That's not their way of loving God. Many people tell me in the audience, I love you so much, and all that. Then I think, why does that person love me? Because Arti, Artharti, Jignasu, all that they needed, they have got. They better love me. What is the other way? How can you hate me after I do all this for you? Then you are absolutely ungrateful. So naturally, it's not difficult to love somebody who does things for you as you want. Same thing applies to God also. When you do things for God exactly how He wants, I demand people change your ways, change your old way of doing things, change your habits, change your opinionated way of thinking, change your old way of doing things because that doesn't suit anymore. They say, yes, yes, we will change, we will change. But then we go back to the same thing, our vasanas kick in, samskaras are there. So under that prabhava, under that burden, we again slip. The only way, constant motivation is stay in the company of those who also love God intensely. Their only motivation is how can I make God happy? How can I be dear to God? That's all is their goal in life. Nothing else matters to them. Everything else is secondary, immaterial. Such people alone are capable of motivating you to continue on this path. Otherwise, very easy to conveniently interpret. That's why Krishna says, Yatoktam paryupasate. As I mean it to be, not as you think it is. As I want or I feel it is. Accordingly, if you behave, then you become very dear to me. Don't interpret accordingly, according to your convenience. At some point in time, one of our interns from some campus asked me, I keep asking them, what are your challenges, what you face? So he was telling me about the difficulty that he has in convincing parents of the students about pursuing or continuing their education or doing seva and things like that. So I said, what is the difficulty? They say, you are giving us education, selfless, unconditional love and service is your motto, and all the children from poor backgrounds, we are giving them free education or whatever. Then why are you expecting them to do service in your institution? How are you selfless? How are you unconditional? You are not doing what you are saying. That is the argument of the parent. So this fellow is confused. He's saying, how do I tell this parent about selfless? I told, why did they come here in the first place? They came here because we were giving them exactly what they wanted. Selflessly we were giving. They said, oh, you people are selfless, so we are coming here. If you were selfish, charging a fee and all that thing, they wouldn't have come, right? So they came here saying that we are selfless people. But in the process of living with us, they never picked up that habit. They remained selfish, but expected us to remain selfless because we have claimed to be selfless. When I tell them that you also be a little selfless and do something good to others, you say, no, 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 how can you demand this from us? This is how they are behaving. So I told this boy, this is exactly why Krishna says, Yathoktam Paryupasate. Do exactly how I actually mean it to be, not interpret it your way. Not interpret it your way. So then onwards, Krishna became very careful. After that, whatever he said in Bhagavad Gita, he put terms and conditions apply. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktana. Those who worship me continuously, incessantly, without anything else in their minds, their good, bad, ugly, I look after. They're not otherwise. Means that is how the corollary should be, right? If he says, if you do this, then I do this. Means if you don't do this, then I also don't do this. It's conditional. So I thought, no, no, this is not the way. We have to help them experience. See, there are two ways of looking at it: judge them and discard them, or help them get over the disease. I'm a doctor, I have to take care of the disease. So I said, see, the parents do not get an opportunity to come here, or at least they don't take the opportunity to come here. They don't spend time here in the institutions, ashram, they don't do seva. So they don't understand what we are trying to do. What we are trying to do for the child, not just give education, but make the child a child of fulfillment at the end of their lives. But the parents are unable to appreciate that. Why not we give them an opportunity to come here? But how do I ensure that they would come and do some service and spend some time, absorb some of these ideas and slowly transform themselves and become selfless so that such wrong arguments don't happen in the future? I have to think about it. So then we came up with this idea that everything will provide free. They do not bring even toothbrush with them. Everything will give free, including shoes or whatever the parents have to provide, some bit of personal articles, even that they need not provide. We'll give everything, but condition is parents should come and give seva 15 days in a year. They should do seva 1 week at the campus, at least 1 week at the hospital. This was the condition we put. Ananyas chintayanto mam tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Come and do service, everything else will be taken care of, it will be completely free. It does put a burden on the institution, but then we were not able to achieve the real goal, which is to get everybody aligned to the idea of service and spirituality. So somewhere parents would withdraw the children halfway through and leave a gap there, hole there, because we can't fill it with another child from another institution. He doesn't know Sanskrit, doesn't know Paravidya. Suddenly I cannot take child at 9th class. We have trained them not just in science, maths, English like other schools. We also have trained them in so many other cultural values. Suddenly that gap cannot be filled by taking a child from. So many people ask, why are you not taking children at 9th or 11th? This is the reason. Because we have trained them not just in academics, in so many other ways, which a new child cannot suddenly pick up in 11th class or 9th class. That's why 6th onwards we have been keeping less. So anybody who leaves the institution, there's no way we can fill that hole with another child all of a sudden. So that's why it's important the child continues till he reaches a stage where he has become from Arti, Artharthi, Jignasu, he has become Jnani. Till then he has to stay with the system. A fruit must hang on to the branch till it ripens. If it falls halfway, it won't ripen. It will rot. So enough time should be spent in the system. So how to convince the parents? So we came up with this idea that parents should come and do service. It was met with resistance, as always it is. Anything new you tell, everybody says no, no, no. But then we change for those whom we love. So slowly, slowly the parents started accepting that, okay, this is the minimum we can do. And I gave a financial logic also. 15 days, even if you don't earn anything. Let's say your average income per day is the laborer's income is 300 rupees. A good officer's income may be 2000 rupees a day. Even if that is there, 15 days, whatever you are going to pay me, that is still less than the cost of your child in our institution for the whole year. So you do your mathematics and decide whether you want to come for service or you want to take the child back. So some people definitely did mathematics and said, let us go. Why lose this financial opportunity? Whatever be the reason, parents came. It took some time to convince them. Some people won't come. Some people withdrew their children, also said, we don't want to come and do service. We will take the child elsewhere. Whatever happened, after 1 or 2 years of all ups and downs, finally it settled. Now all parents come for service, including those from the college, schools, or any other courses. So this morning I got a nice report from our coordinators of Seva Dal. Seva Dal means all these volunteering parents. And I read the report. I had so much of joy in my heart. The report was so beautiful because there are also videos of parents speaking how that has transformed them. I'm not saying all of them felt the same way, but everybody changed because they spent time in a hospital looking at poor patients being treated for free. Their hearts melted. They realize what this mission is all about. And if their child is in this mission, how fulfilling it would be for the child to be also a part of something as beautiful as this. Only seeing is believing, as they say. So once they came, spent time, and then they realized that yes, what this institution is telling us is right. Otherwise, sitting somewhere in a far off village, stuck in the worldliness maya of the slush of the samsara, it was impossible for them to appreciate also what we are doing. We became an institution which was giving free education because we are meant to do that, we are supposed to do that. Nothing more than that. So, my problem was that we were only ending up with poverty alleviation and not spiritual evolution. At best, our institutions were able to pull out poor children from such backgrounds, give them education so that they are employable and they come out of the cycle of poverty. Definitely a great social service. But it was not achieving its true potential of also the spiritual evolution of the people. Social evolution was happening, but that was only half done. So all this was changed, and now I was walking, all these parents were sitting, and I gave them the logic. I want you to come to do seva because not that you have to have my darshan, I want to have your darshan too. I want to see who these parents are, whose children are studying in our institutions, how the parents look, where they come from, what is their background. I also want to see them. Now I get to see all the parents throughout the year, as they see me also. And there something happens in that interaction. Even if it's for a few seconds you pass by, something happens. That energy, quantum entanglement and all that. So it happens, something happens. They go back with some experience. And I was seeing many parents who also are into some bad habits. Some people in the villages, it's very common. They gave us smoking or drinking or doing anything else which was not proper as a commitment after coming here. So all these transformations started happening in the parents too. And that is helping the children to stay on this path, because I can give education, but I don't own them, At least legally, I don't own them. You can say I belong to you, but I cannot enforce that on a piece of paper. It's a relation that is heart to heart, but not a legal document. So I can't force you to do exactly what I want you to do. I have to have your parents included, and their buy-in is important. But this program slowly has transformed the parents, and most of them have fully aligned themselves to the system. Still we find a few here and there, but that's a natural phenomena that you can never get 100% of everybody to agree to everything. So there will be few people with their own vested interests, but largely it started working. And that makes me very happy. And since morning, this is something that has been making me very happy. So I thought I must tell you. So yathoktam paryupasate, do seva. When I said parents also should grow, why should they not grow in this spiritual system? Why should they be left out? It's unfair. They also should get an opportunity to participate and grow spiritually. At the end, like Shravana Kumaras, you are supposed to take care of your parents' moksha also, no? How will you take care of it? This is an opportunity. So this slowly has transformed the education system. And I think it was a kind of a gamble. Whether it will happen or not, we didn't know. It was an experiment. But slowly it is making a big difference, and I felt happy about it. The other thing I wanted to share is all our NIOS 10th result is out yesterday or day before. All children have got 100% pass results. Not just that, 45% plus have got distinctions, and all the rest have got first class. There are no second class at all in the whole of the institution. And why it's important, there are other institutions who have academic achievements much bigger than this. But remember, these people are coming from very underprivileged backgrounds. They are not having level playing fields. They are coming from very, very disadvantaged sections of the society. To study in English medium and within 5 years rise to the occasion, write a national exam and get good marks is not easy. I understand that. But they have slowly started achieving. Of course, the efforts that go in from all the teachers and the whole ecosystem is there. But then finally it's the child who has to perform. Whatever inputs you give, it has to go inside. That's again very beautiful achievement. And also what is wonderful about it, there is a small secret behind it, because earlier we were a part of state boards, which was just writing exams, writing assignments, writing projects, assignments, projects, exams. Whole life was revolving around that. Can you believe at that point of time, before bhajans, there used to be a study class. After bhajans also, there used to be study class. Bhajan was like a break in between studies. When we changed over to NIS, changed over to English medium, changed over to a different system, many people withdrew their children actually. Half of the children left the institution during those times, because they said, oh, the institution is going down the drain. Here no education will happen, academics won't happen, all this is going to be very bad. And a lot of parents withdrew their children, despite us trying to convince them so much. Hours and hours we spent. I personally sent letters to every single parent. It is from Narasimha Murthy, every single parent received letter explaining the system, why this is changing, how it will help the child, and so on and so forth. Half of them were not convinced. I said, okay, what can we do about it? Unfortunate. That's why we left it at that. But today children are proving themselves. They're performing. And another beautiful thing that was done was, many of these children, they were not interested in science. They knew that they're not interested in science, but they're interested in arts or humanities or a language or music or something. But in board system, there was no scope for that. You had to study all the subjects for 10th class. You liked it, you didn't like it, nobody cared. So what was happening? The student was scoring 90 in, let's say, Sanskrit, or 90 in Kannada, 90 in social studies, 90 in environmental sciences, and failing in mathematics, failing in some science. And the whole 10th board result was fail. And then the fellow has to rewrite all these things, plus a stamp on the child that he's a failure in the 10th board. So we changed it over to NIS, saying that make it lighter. In 9th itself, they can choose what is that they want to do in life, towards humanities or towards sciences. So the burden of studying science was reduced for those who wanted humanities, and burden of studying humanities was reduced for those who wanted sciences. This also started doing the magic. Why? Because now they had to study less science if they don't want science as the future stream. And they could study other things. So in science, they could score, science means whatever subject they have got under science and technology, they get 60 marks, 65 marks. But in all others, they have received 90 plus. That's how the distinctions have gone up. Otherwise, they would have struggled with science and all the other subjects, and they did not have some of the wonderful subjects that Indian culture and heritage was not there. That's brought in. Of course, you learn Sanskrit, you also learn English. These were difficult changes at that point, but we changed for those whom we love. I loved children. I always wanted children to have that confidence, dignity. I didn't want them to go down in the history as failures or losers or unachievers. They should, to their potential, they should achieve what they're supposed to achieve. Somebody, I believe Einstein said, if fish is expected to climb the tree, it will spend the whole life thinking it's a failure. But nobody should be pushed into that. So those things. So these two things are the news items that came out, like Parent Seva update I got, and then update on NIOS, that has made such a huge difference. And can you believe now the science students in the PU, that is the intermediate, those who are writing NEET exams, they find state board exams very difficult, because they have to manage state board and also study for the NEET and then write NEET in 2 years' time. Now they all want to take NIOS, because NIOS gives you the flexibility. And somebody told me, we have to write only one exam, right? You don't write 11th and 12th, you only write 12th in NIOS. So you can choose to write the 12th board subjects in 2 years, some of them in 11th year, some of them in 12th year. So that reduces the burden of board exams, and you get more time to study for your NEET preparations. How this has transformed, you see. Otherwise they would have written 11th exam, again 12th exam in the state boards, and both places they had to pass. Now whatever 7 subjects or whatever they have to study, 3, 4 they write in 11th, and the remaining 2, 3 they write in the 12th, and they get plenty of time to study for the NEET. But every change meets with resistance. When we're making these changes, huge resistance. But some of them shook their head and they said, this institution is going to dogs. This is not going to prosper anymore. He will ruin the place, he will ruin the children, he will ruin the culture. We were the people who launched children into public exams like medicine and engineering, and now this institution is going where? Today we have better students, they do well in medicine, they also know Bhagavad Gita, they also attend Homa, they also chant mantras, and also do well in studies. Which is better, you tell me? But all this was changed The whole system was changed. Why? Because we love our children. We want to do the very best for them. Whatever it takes, we will put efforts to change ourselves to suit what is good for the children. Now, is it not children's responsibility to change themselves to suit the system? Has to be, right? Because love is mutual, it can't be one sided. If we show love by changing everything to help you, you also have to show the same love by changing your ways, learning the things in the right way, yathoktam paripasate, and please God. And your parents have to change. All family members have to change. Why? Because you love the system, you love what is being done. So this is mutual. Love can never be one-sided. It has to be mutual. And that mutual love is what you should show now as students, parents, and all the institution members by changing your ways. And what am I asking you to change after all? I'm asking you to change the wrong only, right? I'm not asking you to change the right into wrong. I'm only asking you to change the wrong into right. And everybody knows the right thing is to do the right thing, which is to do the good things. Paravidya, or what is spiritual education, is a part of the system. Service is the way of life. You can't run away from that. That is wrong. So what we are asking is to change for the good, change for the better. In fact, it's an opportunity to change for the better. Many institutions won't even give you an opportunity to change for the better. They in fact are happy if you are remaining that way, because then you fit into the whatever their mold. And that is what they want, more righteous people in the society, so that the wrong elements can rule the roost, play on the vulnerabilities and wrongdoings of others. But no, we want everybody to be right, because at the end you have to be happy. And for happiness, doing the right thing is the only way. By doing the wrong thing, one can never be happy. One may feel he is happy in the beginning, but eventually they will suffer. To be happy always, you have to do the right thing. And this is a beautiful opportunity to do the right thing, which is to study well, but with a purpose. And the purpose is to serve, to study spiritual education with a purpose, and the purpose is to realize yourself. Atmano mokshartam jagat hitaya cha. And it's so well designed now that everything can happen if you decide to make it happen. Otherwise, that bhavaroga, no? My ears don't hear bhajans, my tongue cannot chant bhajans, my nose cannot smell flowers, my hands cannot serve God, my feet do not go to temples, all this disease. That is because bhavaroga is there, so much of worldliness inside. That is what we are changing. So are you under treatment? Yes, you are. You are under not just treatment, you are under personal care. Each one of you, customized personal care, so that each one of you grows spiritually, get rid of this disease when you are not interested in God and good things, or not interested in seva and spirituality. All this is going away slowly. Most of you came with that symptoms, right? Those symptoms were there. Once in a while they also recur. But largely they have gone away. Now you're taking some interest in bhajan, Bhagavad Gita, Paravidya. Slowly, curing is happening. The disease is getting cured. One day you will be totally free from all this disease of Bhavaroga, and that is my goal. So till such day, we have to keep working. We have to keep taking medications. We have to keep following the diet and prescriptions till we fully recover from this Bhavaroga. And this is what is happening. Every satsang is another dosage, medication. Why? Because you need to see the doctor if you still are sick. And when do you know that you have recovered completely? When your worldliness becomes completely zero in you. What is worldliness? Desire for the world, desire for the attractions of the world, desire for these silly things of the world, and selfishness at the root of it all. That is the disease. Bhavaroga is selfishness basically. When that goes away, you are free. So has it fully gone away from each one of you? That you have to assess yourself. If it's not gone away still, it means you should still be under treatment. That is what you are under. So you remember that and stay in the company of good, healthy people. If you stay in the company of sick people, they'll pass on the infection to you. So stay in the company of those who have only one goal in life, to please God, to do God's will, and to do the right thing so that they find ultimate fulfillment both in the social life as well as spiritual life. Such people you should keep company of, and help your parents and whoever you know also to come and participate and grow spiritually. That's a great service that you would do. So remember that, and remember that this is the best opportunity that we can get to, or rather say this is the best hospital, the best doctor that you have got to get rid of this sickness. Not every hospital, every doctor is competent. So think like that and treat yourself well, and come out of this sickness and disease once for all, so that it never comes back again to you or to your family. Remain selfless, pure, and spiritually rooted people, and find fulfillment and joy in your life.